rocks around my home, gems and rocks, but I have a piece of alabaster, well, two pieces of alabaster from Egypt that are the closest at the moment. So
Hmm.
very rough, but I like the rusticness of, or the rawness of it. So,
Hmm.
They match your
Are,
sweater too.
right, didn't know that.
are they little bowls?
One's a bowl and sort of a cup.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I think 2010. But, and I saw the Sphinx, but I couldn't, they had it taped off or roped off at that point, but I still got to be in the presence of it.
What
And
was
the,
it like?
what was it like? What was it like? It's hard to put into words, but what I remember standing by or standing looking at it was this young boy trying to get money from us and having an interaction with him. And of course, having trouble saying no. I just gave him everything I had. And then,
Mm.
yeah, it's powerful. Yeah. Mm.
Sarah gifted me with some sand from the Sphinx, and it
Did
had been the
she?
same young man that she got it from.
I got a postcard. No.
He's a wealthy man.
They come from all over the world.
And it
Oh.
were the
Little
special,
bag.
yes, special coins I was saving for my grandkids. Anyway, long story. A memory amongst many.
Yeah, nice. Well, the
Well,
Sphinx.
speaking of the desert, I guess we have the Sabian symbol is this camel shows up.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Tell us more.
Well, it's right in line with what I'm playing with, and that's independence.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it showed up, and I can read Rudyard's version. So we're at Leo 25. A large camel is seen crossing a vast and forbidding desert. The keynote is self-sufficiency in the face of a long and exhausting adventure. The camel here represents a living organism that is able to sustain itself independently of its environment at the start of a trying journey. The original formulation of the symbol did not refer to a man on camelback. The organism carries within itself what is absolutely needed for survival. At the deeper human level of consciousness, it is easy to see the value of self-reliance and self-sufficiency as one enters the occult path leading to a more dynamic and more inclusive realm of existence. The camel carries water within its body, and it is said that the dromedary is able to utilize the matter stored in its large protuberance as food. The suggestion here is that in order to be released from bondage to the quote, old world, unquote, we should be completely self-contained emotionally, having absorbed the mental food which is this old culture has given us. We are ready to face, quote, the desert, nothingness, sunya, until we reach the quote, new world. We need, in capital letters, total independence from our surroundings and utter, again in capital letters, self-reliance.
Hmm. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. That that felt very on point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really ringing true
It,
in these times.
to me, it kind of just putting my own personal interpretive twist on it. Sounds like when we're studying things, like at some point it's like out there in a book or you're copying it, and then there comes a point where you can remember the information, and then you can kind of live it, and you don't have to, oh, what was that again that
Hmm.
said? And I feel like that's the point where you start to carry the water on your back instead of having to go back to the stream constantly. And then you can like take a break from the river and start walking through deserts and stuff like that.
Hmm. Yeah, beautiful.
Mhm.
Yeah, that power of independence, making my own choices. It's kind of totally free. But then there's also having known relationship. It's like, okay, what's that balance between independence and relationship without suddenly, I think, where did I see it? Oh, maybe it was Sadhguru who said, I love you because I just allow you to be whatever you want to be.
Oh, you got on here. Am I on? Yeah.
There we go.
Jerry.
Hello.
Hmm.
Oh, I wonder why.
Thought I heard her voice for a minute there, or a second or two.
Mhm.
I'll just chime in on this whole balance thing.
Mhm.
So that kind of resonates with me as well. Now that I'm quite a journey into my journey, um, I'm noticing now that I thought I might be struggling with perfectionism because I was like so focused, and now other things in my life are popping up, and I'm trying to find that balance of trying to keep myself accountable on a daily basis, plus still integrate these other life processes in. So I kind of understand that whole balance thing right now, and it's coming to me. I did a long meditation this morning, and I just needed to sit with it because it's hard for me not to have that, like, I need to work out, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, and I'm like, in my meditation, I'm like, just stop trying to do
Mhm.
that to yourself and just
Yeah.
be here. You know what I mean? Just be here right now. And yeah, it was really it was eye opening this morning, that's for sure. So it's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
why.
That sounds very, very congruent with what's going on.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Wow.
That's why I was like, wow, this is totally exactly it. Because I'm
Mhm.
walking that path now, I got to figure out how to incorporate the rest of my life and still walk the path, right?
Mhm.
So, um, yeah, that's what I got to say.
Oh, very cool.
Thank you.
I feel like I've been walking the path, and then this last couple of weeks thrown back in deeper into family stuff and being able to put things into practice. It's been another part of the journey. It's
Mhm.
yeah, always learning and hmm.
Yeah. It's like the vicissitudes or life is always there. How do we approach it? I'm also enjoying Power versus Force. I'm continuing Sophia's work there.
Yeah,
Mm,
right on.
Wow. It's really, really good. I get new little gems out of that
mhm.
on every page.
Yeah, I circle those on my copy,
Yeah.
and I've got lots circled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm continuing Sophia's yellow marker.
Great.
She would yellow marker her books, and I'd go, "Oh no, my book." She'd go, "They're there for studying. I use them. I use the book."
Yeah, nice.
So, seeing that this book had half yellow marks in it, I said, "Okay, I'll try it. I'll try it." And So that's been freeing.
I'm stuck at like 167, page 167. I haven't been able to open it back up, and yeah, that's where I sit. But I have pink highlights in mine, so
Oh, pink highlights. Yeah, I have a pink one too, but this book is the yellow.
yeah. I think yellow might have been better because it wouldn't bleed us through as much. But so I just put like lines on the side of the book, and anyways.
Mhm.
Hello, Sari. You made it.
Hi.
I think so.
There you are. Hello.
I
Hi.
That's great.
My problem was always, okay, I need to stop making it all yellow.
The whole page.
Right. What's the point?
So how are you doing, Sari?
I'm okay. I'm
Yeah?
okay. Yeah,
Good. You got some challenges lately.
yeah, I have. It's okay though. Today's a good day. Sun shining. Yeah. Saw the sun come up, moon go down.
Mm,
Oh,
nice.
nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you guys have a great vantage point there.
Yeah, we're on top of a hill so we can see them. Can't see the lineup of planets though because of the light from Victoria, right? Yeah. It's yeah. Anyway, I'm glad to be here. Sorry it took so long. It's one thing after another, and the computer kept saying, "You don't have this, and you don't have that, and you're unplugged from here." So,
Mhm.
good to see everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, right on.
It was interesting to observe last week or last on the new moon and not being there and observing the group from watching the video. I found that to step back, and I enjoyed Sari's fashion connection about men and beards in uh, this age that's coming with Neptune moving into Aries. And will the men lose their beards? That was an interesting thought.
I haven't had a
Yeah.
chance. Whoops, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I started, but then things got busy with people in my lives.
Mhm.
But even the new moon energy, it was like already working when I had time to look at the oracle and all of that. It was like it was profound. But with a bit of humor, I'd had discussions with friends about men and their beards, and it's like as we get older and the women get wrinkles, the men just, we all get older, the men can grow beards and we can't, or we don't to that
Yeah.
degree anyway.
Yeah,
Nothing
I mean, it
spiritual.
serves a purpose. I like it against the cold.
Yes.
And I was interested by who said it about the Vikings having beards. So when they got punched in the face, it was a little barrier.
Soften the blow.
Soften the blow. Yeah.
Mm.
So
Well,
we'll see.
I have one friend with the beard that's below his waist now, and he's got a little silver clip that he can clip on it.
Wow. I see the videos where the men shave their beards and their young children who are like 2 or 3 just start to cry. Like, who is this? Who is this? Who is this guy?
Well, when they see the little tiny chin that we all have underneath here,
Mm-hmm.
I shaved it off a bunch of years ago, and I was like, "What the hell is that? Where did that little thing come from?" You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very interesting thought.
Well, my dad has always been clean shaven. So the one time in my childhood, seeing him with a beard, just a little scruff, was like, wow, who is this new man I've
Mm-hmm.
never seen before?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember my dad went out on a horse packing fishing trip and he was gone for 10 days. And he came back with a beard and everything. It was like, it just seemed like it was the happiest time of his life. Like he just felt like totally free.
Mm. So from beards to Bitcoin,
Mm,
would anybody like to see a presentation?
absolutely.
Beards to Bitcoin.
Mhm.
What am I more interested in?
Well,
Yeah.
the way I've been researching is now to cast out the net of what planets are in the red zone, as I'm calling it, for different individuals. And it's a fascinating way to engage with the resources that we all have at our disposal. And it just seems to be, I don't know, in my way of relating to the current events, when the information is coming in through the mythic realm and landing on my desk, along with, just the day-to-day outer events. It's really fascinating to see when they connect.
Mhm.
And I think you'll see that in this presentation, that's kind of what's coming down. We're getting the archetypal and the existential kind of in this marriage. And I think it gives us an opportunity to anticipate. There's an archetypal weather pattern, let's say. And
Mhm.
through our investigation of the symbols, we're able to get on track with what's actually coming down. And there's reinforcement for us there. The wisdom of the elders is coded into a lot of these symbols. So yeah, I'm I'm happy to get going.
Mhm.
So let's
Yeah, please.
do the share, and then there's the desktop.
Sit back, relax, enjoy.
Yeah, and so you guys are seeing stand at 0.
Yes.
Yeah, exploring Mayan solar kin, and Mr. Michael Saylor in the bottom right-hand corner. No. So this image itself is kind of me
Can I just
conjuring
pause you for a
up.
second? I'm not sure I'm getting major feedback. I don't know if anyone else is experiencing that too when Dwayne's talking.
Maybe we want to all mute until we want to say something and then unmute if we want to
Yeah.
say something.
Yeah,
That's a
might be
great idea. Yeah.
Sorry.
And do jump in. I'd love to have your commentary as we go along. You don't have to wait till it's over.
If I mute, Wayne is muted as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
Really? That's
I'm not finding my mute button today. How interesting is that?
Mine's on my lowest volume button.
Bottom left
Yes.
on the Zoom screen.
Oh, okay.
There should be a little microphone on your left-hand side.
Right.
Yeah, just click on the microphone.
And Dwayne, you have the ability to mute everybody at once, I believe, as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But right now I'm in this mode, and all I've got is the keynote. Okay, so one thing that I've realized in the last couple of weeks is that I've been dwelling on this notion of Neptune arriving at 0 Aries, and that being a really significant turning point. But what I wasn't kind of paying attention to was the fact that although Neptune arrives at 0 Aries on March 31st, it's going to do a dance back and forth. It'll be going back into Pisces. And then on February 27th, 2026 is when it fully enters Aries. So we've got this March 31st, 2025 to February 27th, 2026. That's the big window. And we are going into it very consciously. And I think we're going to find it to be quite the adventure in consciousness. And, with the tools that we have available to do this kind of exploration are getting more phenomenal by the day. And it's really quite an unprecedented time, I think. With Neptune having a 165-year orbit, that's well out past a human lifetime, but that's the cycle that we're tuning into. And I don't know, I'm just finding it really quite the adventure. So, Michael Saylor. So Michael Saylor is an American entrepreneur. His birthday is February the 4th, so right next to mine, February 3rd. And I've always felt a kind of a kinship with him. And of course, we both have the same solar kin, which is kind of cool. Michael has kind of rocketed to the forefront over the last 5-6 years. Initially, he was an entrepreneur that developed a very successful business as enterprise grade software for large businesses to keep track of all their data. And he got to the point where he was responsible for quite a large mass of dollars, just of cash. So cash on the balance sheet. And what he realized was that cash just sitting there on the balance sheet was actually like an ice cube melting because of inflation. And so as an executive, he was charged with this responsibility of managing that resource. And what he eventually ended up doing was putting it all into Bitcoin. And Bitcoin has been with us since early 2000s. And he was aware of it initially and poo-pooed it. But by the time he got to this point where he had all of this cash to contend with, well, at that point, he came over to the Bitcoin protocol and saw that he could work with it and in fact, increase the value of that initial investment. So he's been very dramatic in his moves, and they continue to this day. And he's quite the proponent. Now, interestingly, of all the people that I've ever explored, using the Sabian symbols, he is one of the most exemplary. This is the Sabian symbol for his son, Aquarius 16, a big businessman at his desk. And he certainly is a big businessman at his desk. And this is from the James Burgess Sabian symbol site. Organizational ability. We live in a world where resources are scarce and there is competition for them. It requires good management to cope with this. And Burgess is saying self-organization and staying on top of things. So it's about that capacity for self-organization that we all have to some extent. And some definitely have it more than others. And Michael is an exemplar here. So here's what Burgess has to say about this particular degree.
Aquarius 16, big businessman at his desk. This is all about good management. Management has its own spiritual dimension. There's a clarity of mind required with management, a decisiveness, a sense of judgment, sense of balance. These are all spiritual principles. And so just to learn how to become a good manager is excellent spiritual training, because we lose our fluffy, confused mindedness and we actually focus on the matter in hand. And if you don't have that level of focus, you're not going to get very far on a spiritual level. Fluffy and ill-defined doesn't work at the higher levels of spiritual mastery. So just training to be good at management is excellent stepping stone on your spiritual path. If you are a good manager, then think about what you're going to do with that. Some people invest that skill in the pursuit of fame and fortune, and others invest that skill in the pursuit of structures and communities and groups that support their spiritual life. So they'll use their management skills in order to arrange the furtherance of our spiritual agenda. Now, this latter group is rare, much rarer than the first, of course. And yet, if you're a truly spiritual person and you have management skills, then the thing to do is to try to use them to create for yourself a sustainable life using spiritual principles. Build up a business as a healer or a teacher, or work for a group of people that are doing that, or whatever. Find an alignment between what you believe in and how you're applying your management skills. This is what this degree is talking about, actually. The character building side of this exercise goes beyond the skills of being able to get the job done, and it embraces the sort of understandings of attending to your principles and doing the right thing. And it is inconceivable that you can actually go to the nth degree in your career if you have an employer without sometimes not doing the right thing. It's right to tell the truth. It's wrong not to tell the truth. Very few people who get very far in management or any career have been able to do that without bending the truth. In other words, telling lies. And that's a corruption. That's just one example. Another is working for a company who has a total disregard for the slave labor that they're using to produce their goods in the Far East, and the ecological implications of their manufacturing processes, or whatever it is, or dissemination of lies. Advertising, for example, most companies advertise and the advertisements are not accurate. And if you're working for such a company, then you have responsibility for that. You have to align your work and your development with your principles. And if you are not principled, then you can work for these agencies that are destroying the planet. But if you are principled, then no, you can't work for them. You have to find someone to work for, or work for yourself in a way which supports your vision of a spiritual world that we're trying to create. That's what this mystery is saying. Whatever we apply ourselves to and give our attention to and our energy to must be of consequence. If it's not, then we're just wasting it. Either we're relaxing, or we're achieving a purpose, or we're relating, or we're achieving something else. We have to make sure that what we're giving our attention to has consequence. And when we see that certain results occur as an outpouring of our energetic pursuits and allocation of attention, the results measure the consequence of what we're doing. So if what you do has consequences which are not what you want, something's wrong. You have to notice the consequences of what it is that you're doing. And if that's in alignment with your vision, then you're on track. If it's not, then you've lost your direction. And many people say, well, I need to get a job to get money to do what I want to do. And that's a misunderstanding. That necessarily brings you into the processes of distortion that the mainstream world work by. It's not a valid principle to do it that way around. You have to affirm what it is you want in life, what you desire, what you believe in. You have to affirm that and behave consistently with that. And it's not okay to do something else in order to do that later. That is so commonly used as a argument. When I get my money, then I'll do the thing I want to do with my life. And if they get the money, which they usually don't, they forget what they wanted to do, because you lose it on the way. If you actually move into that money-based system, you lose your sense of self, you lose your clarity of vision. It's a dangerous game to play, to enter the mainstream world. A very dangerous game, and most people cannot play it. They lose so much. And what they lose most of all is their understanding of themselves as spiritual beings. So if you have management skills now, reapply them to furthering your spiritual vision, and that will bring you back onto the track, which will lead eventually to joy and happiness. And if you are actually serving any situation where the outcome is degenerate and against your principles, just stop it immediately. Immediately, just stop it, because it's wrong. I know that's dramatic and radical, but it's necessary. You're serving the devil, metaphorically speaking. And you're not having faith that your light is strong enough to carry you through. That's possibly the worst part of it, that you're working out of fear. You have to do what you believe in. Eventually, we have to come to the position of indifference to condemnation or flaws. Because what we're doing is radical. It's at the root of everything. And it does not receive community support from the wrong community. So whenever we move from being in the wrong community towards being in the right community, wrong for us, right for us, that's all I'm saying, no moral judgments. Whenever we do that, we have to change the foundation of our lives at root. And when we do that, that unsettles the people that won't do that, and they'll condemn us, or they will applaud us for being the same as them. And seduce us into doing the thing that really isn't very good for us. So one of the things that we have to do is to learn to be indifferent to whether people approve of what we're doing or not. You have to say what we want to say, whether or not it gets likes on Facebook or Instagram. You know, just get your own message out there and be indifferent to whether you get support or condemnation. That's a real test of spiritual attainment.
Very good.
Any commentary at this point?
It's very good.
He's got a silver tongue, Burgess does.
Very good.
And he's got a beard.
Yes, I noticed that. Just noticing that.
Yeah, that totally resonated with everything that's going on in my life right now. So I was just like, I'm going to listen. I'm just going to listen and take this in because, it's all about management. And, I I catch myself, I've caught myself just thinking about the things that I'm doing, and I'm like, that's not like, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? Why am I sitting and watching TV? I could be doing something else that's resonating with what I need to accomplish, right? So, um, yeah, it's perfect for today. Thank you.
And I too really enjoyed listening to that. That was exceptional advice and wisdom and everything. There's definitely sounds like there's a couple interpretations to the man behind the desk, and I like the idea of like structuring your life and like building a solid foundation so that you're like doing things that are like morally correct and right. So that's what I wanted to like emphasize with what he was saying was to like, make sure what we're doing in our daily lives is like has positive outcome and benefits. And yeah, that's like medicine listening to him talk. It's like ah he's got the teaspoon of honey right there with the beautiful accent and anyway, that was lovely. Thank you.
And thank you for the way you presented that, Quentin. That was lovely. That was...
I'm a poet and I don't even know it.
But do your feet show it? No.
Oh, yeah, the Longfellows.
Yes.
Yeah, I see the corruption part, the lies, and the macrocosm of what's going on now, and who's behind the big desk. Is it Musk or is it Trump or who is it? And then to go back to Hawkins and the map of consciousness, he talks about the god of death who's dwelling in that lower realm on the map of lies, dishonest, greed, all of that. So I see where the big businessman at his desk certainly isn't what I want. And then I bring in the Sabian symbol of the full moon and say, well, okay, I'm independent of that. So I see that's going on. But my task for me is not to be hooked into it as much suffering as it's causing, because I see the chaos that it's creating. And Hawkins again says, behind the chaos, there is a plan. So that's just, I just feel that's what's being shown is the realm of the lower part of the map of consciousness. So I certainly don't want any part of that.
So just to familiarize us with Michael Saylor's significance at this time, he's one of the very foremost proponents of Bitcoin. And if you're not familiar with Bitcoin, here's a little quote. Bitcoin is a digital currency that allows people to send and receive money over the internet without needing a bank. It operates on a decentralized network called blockchain, which records all transactions securely and transparently. Unlike traditional money, Bitcoin isn't controlled by any government or financial institution. Instead, it's maintained by a global network of computers. people can use Bitcoin for online purchases, investments, or sending money across borders with lower fees compared to banks. So Michael is a spokesperson for Bitcoin now, and he emphasizes this how novel it is and how world transforming it could be, and is in fact showing itself to be. So along the way, I really enjoyed discovering that as a wealthy entrepreneur, he had his team put together an online kind of mini university. So it's a free service offered on the internet at Saylor.org. And yeah, it's free and open to the public. And people can earn college credit. They can partner with the academy, and real emphasis on learning skills. And it's all right there for free. So that's the kind of guy he is. And he's an Aquarian. He's here to shake things up. So back to the red zone. And here's his chart on the left. And when we apply this net of the red zone, we catch 4 planets, or planets and asteroids and the moon in that zone. So he has Saturn at 5 Pisces, Chiron at 17 Pisces, the moon at 21 Pisces, and then his Vesta, asteroid Vesta, is over into Aries at 4 degrees. So he's kind of loaded for this this journey through the red zone. Steve, did you have any commentary, Sabian commentary on the planets? I had sent you an indication that there was an opportunity for some Sabian analysis.
Right, I didn't get to those.
Okay.
Just to the full moon.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just see what I can't remember what I got up to here. There's the array right there, and Michael's at his big desk with the big ship behind, and we're in that red line zone, and all of these. Well, his whole array of planets here could be considered to be a moving pattern, archetypal in nature. He is, potentially activating these functions within his own being, and just kind of I guess it ends up looking to me like an arrow of intent from Pisces into Aries. And with Vesta out front, we see a spokesperson for new ideas. And so here's when I first became aware of him, was back, I think it was 2018. In one fell swoop, he bought $2,500,000 worth of Bitcoin through his company. So there's this big block of cash that he had responsibility for. He transformed into Bitcoin. So from cash, from fiat money into the new money, Bitcoin money. Okay, I should have done this earlier. I can't. Can anybody see all of the text and would be willing to read it?
I can't see it all.
I can. Michael Saylor's birth chart suggests a blend of deep sensitivity and strong drive. His moon, Chiron, and Saturn in Pisces indicate emotional depth, spiritual wounds, and a need to bring structure to dreams. He likely feels a strong connection to the collective and has a desire to heal, teach, or uplift others. Meanwhile, Vesta in Aries fuels his passion and dedication to pioneering new ideas. This gives him the courage and focus to act on his ideals. Together, this pattern suggests that Saylor is both a visionary and a doer, deeply intuitive and compassionate, but also willing to take bold action to manifest his ideals in the world.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can read all of this. The combination of the, oh, I'm getting feedback or something. Is that bothersome? The feed, there's another.
Fine.
Yeah. The combination of the Piscean and Aryan energies in Saylor's chart reflects a harmonious blend of compassion and action. The deep empathy and sensitivity from the Pisces placements are channeled into proactive initiatives through the influence of Vesta in Aries. This suggests that Saylor is not only attuned to the suffering and needs of others, but is also motivated to take decisive action to address these issues, potentially leading innovative projects or movements aimed at healing or uplifting others. In summary, this astrological pattern portrays Michael Saylor as an individual who embodies a deep well of compassion and empathy, coupled with a fervent drive to initiate change and pioneer new approaches. His life's work is likely characterized by efforts to bring structure and tangible outcomes to his compassionate ideals, using his innate sensitivity as a guiding force for purposeful action. So as I was putting this together the other day, he was busy changing the name of their company from MicroStrategy to simply Strategy, and which is very much in accord with his Pallas Athena asteroid, which is all about strategy and long-term thinking. There's a quote here from Sari. Can you see that? Strategy is one of the most powerful. It's at the bottom of the.
Strategy is one of the most powerful and positive words in the human language. It represents a simplification of our company name to its most important strategic core, he said.
Right on. Thank you. Yeah, so he's very much aligned with this. Well, it's an archetype of strategy. And it sits, if you look to the chart and the orange arrow, that's where asteroid Pallas Athena is, and it's right conjunct within 5 degrees of his Venus. And his Venus is at the final degree, the anaretic degree, we call it, of Capricorn. And the saving symbol for that degree is it's a meeting of big businessmen. And he is definitely aligned with, now his part of his MicroStrategy work had been to map the process that his company was using to enter the world of Bitcoin. And so they could educate others in how to do it. And this is very much, he values that notion of strategy and of working together, long term, and that's really what he's about here. Now, in exploring Bitcoin, it occurred to me the other day to ask ChatGPT about the connection between Bitcoin events, we'll call them, and our lightning path calendar flow. And so we have, first of all, this new invention that is Bitcoin was brought forward as a code. It's the Bitcoin protocol, and it's all able to be compressed and expressed in a short white paper, as they call it. So the Bitcoin white paper, titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, was released by Satoshi Nakamoto on October 31st, 2008. The real identity of Satoshi Nakamoto is not known. So just so you know that. It outlined the concept of a decentralized, trustless digital currency that operates on a blockchain. The first block of Bitcoin, known as the Genesis block, was mined on January 3rd, 2009. So this is the foundational starting point for the whole Bitcoin phenomenon. So first we have the white paper in 9E. Then we moved to the Genesis block, which was a couple months later. When was it? January 3rd. And when we're looking at the lightning path, we look to the right and over to the 7th moon of the lunar year that these events took place. And that 7th moon was 7 Ahau. Now, the whole notion of Bitcoin aligns with the sacred calendar in really interesting ways. So, Sari, if you don't mind, you're doing a great job reading these out. I really appreciate it.
Okay. By viewing Bitcoin through the lens of the lightning path, we see it as more than a financial tool. It is a mythic force driving human evolution towards sovereignty, transparency, and decentralized trust. 7 Ahau frames it as a beacon of sovereign light. 9 Ik reveals it as a breath of knowledge released to the world. 11 Kan marks it as a transformational seed planted for future generations. Rather than being a purely technological phenomenon, Bitcoin's use aligns with a cosmic and spiritual narrative, suggesting that it is an organic process of awakening, unfolding according to deep archetypal rhythms. Conclusion, a new way of relating to Bitcoin. For those who resonate with the lightning path, Bitcoin represents an unfolding mythic journey, not just of finance, but of freedom, consciousness, and decentralization. It is a flowering force encoded within time itself, awaiting those who recognize its deeper purpose. Whether one chooses to engage with Bitcoin as an investment, a movement, or a sacred mystery, its mythic timing suggests it is far more than a financial asset. It is a signpost of transformation, emerging precisely when humanity needed it most and pointing towards a future where sovereignty is restored to the many rather than the few.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any commentary at this point? So just to wrap things up here, which has simply been an introduction to Michael Saylor and Bitcoin worlds. As Michael said, Bitcoin links together 8 billion people links together 100 million companies. It synchronizes the world across political jurisdictions, and it returns rationality to the entire financial system. And it returns freedom and property rights to the entire human race. And it's just getting started. Quentin.
Thank you, Dwayne. That was a wonderful presentation.
You're welcome.
I like how you jam-packed it all in there, but in a very neat and orderly, easy to process kind of way.
Glad to hear that. Right on.
It's the man behind the desk.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask, do you know if Mr. Saylor has a brother named Jordan Saylor? Michael?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Yeah. I don't watch basketball or anything, but that was just a joke. I just thought of Michael Jordan. But I wanted to say about like something that I'm not like 100% sure, but I see from my understanding, having not done too much research, but I've heard Bitcoin is like you're able to anyone with the highest of intentions out there can create a cryptocurrency as a decentralized thing if they have the skills, the technical abilities, and I've heard that you can buy other cryptocurrencies with Bitcoin, and so I just see it as like an entry point into this kind of decentralized world where people can take their currencies into their own hands, and just as one form, because obviously there's many ways to exchange, you know, other than money, but like other kind of valuable items. So I would like to put out, um, you know, the highest intention with all of this um, cryptocurrencies that everyone is supported, and if people want to, uh, you know, become a part of that movement with the cryptos, that they can be very successful and be well rewarded. And then for those that don't want to, uh, get cryptos or something like that, like personally, I just don't think I have the technical abilities to do it. But at some point, I'll probably get some. But yeah, I think it's a beautiful direction for people to go into. Anyway, I'm not trying to put the plug on the Bitcoin or anything, but just wanted to make it like kind of shareable and understandable that there's like a lot of different positive outcomes of new developing things that people put their highest intentions into for the benefit of all humanity. So that was my little 2 cents, my little 2 Bitcoin cents.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'll go the other tact. I guess I must have some blind spots. I'm not, of the 8 billion, I'm not feeling the link. I'm looking at it with the lightning path. With each temple, there's the shadow, right? So I want to be aware of that. I don't see anything in the presentation about the shadow side of Bitcoin, which there obviously must be. So I'm curious if you have anything on that, Dwayne, or the other thing was the examples of strategy B, anything about his healing and innovative projects and movements that you're aware of? I don't seem to hear it in anything mainstream of what projects they're doing to make the world a better place. So I personally would have to go in and see what strategy B is about. I just don't know if you have anything about that. And maybe define what is trustless digital currency. Maybe it's a different definition of trust. It's not in a financial trust versus I don't trust it. And who's making millions off of people giving their dollars. So there's just some shadow stuff that I'm not aware of. I have blind spots around it.
Yeah, that's unique. I guess I haven't entertained any deleterious shadows aspects to it, and I know that's only what I'm experiencing with it is still only one view, and there are many views, and of course there is the shadow. I mean, wherever there's the flow of power, there's going to be shadow, and it comes back to the integrity of the individual. How am I using this new technology? Am I using it to further the greater good, or am I going for as many Bitcoin as I can get? On that note, that's one area where periodically I've tuned in to Michael and I thought, I wonder what his day-to-day life is actually like. Like he's almost weekly announcing the next major purchase of Bitcoin by his company. And so he's on this constant gathering of Bitcoin resource to that particular company. And it's like, well, yeah, there's more to life than collecting Bitcoin. I wouldn't want to myself go into it and lose, as James Burgess was talking about, lose my authenticity, and because I'm scrambling after some external benefit. So it's quite the phenomenon. I mean, there was a point when early on when I found out about Bitcoin, I got really quite impassioned. There was a book came out at that time, which is still foundational to the whole Bitcoin phenomena, and it's called the Bitcoin Standard. Is it? Yeah, I think it's the Bitcoin Standard. Anyway, it really ignited a fire in me, and I went into a research quest that went on for hundreds of hours, and it just seemed to me like this truly was a revolutionary energy coming into the collective, and just so many factors to deal with. It's been disrupting traditional fiat currency and more. But it's this place of and now there are like you can go. There's chats. There's Bitcoin groups. There's guys that are doing every day they have new Bitcoin information, and it's really quite phenomenal how impactful it has been and how successful it is in unhooking the money from the state, because that's the way it is right now, and humanity at large is being suppressed by the few that own all of the resources, and the fiat currency is designed to subjugate people. It's based on debt, and there's just such a difference of quality in between fiat and Bitcoin. So I guess I'm one of those 8 million, and I think it's got a future. And to the extent that I'm engaged, it's very minor, but it's real, So I'm nurturing that, and the fact that this came up, by throwing out the red zone fish catcher, I was just really excited to have it come up and be be a point of reference for us here. And there will be other references back to Bitcoin, I'm sure, through other people's lives as I continue this kind of research. So I'll be interested to see those kind of connections. Blah, de, blah, de, blah. Somebody else, please.
Thank you.
Well, it's the beginning of a new age, right? So there's going to be all kinds of new things coming. And my research into beginnings of other ages says it's never easy, and the new age doesn't turn on a dime. It's like an ocean liner. It takes miles to make that turn, right?
Yep.
And the Aquarian age has been starting for over 100 years. But it's still not all settled. We're still grabbing new ideas, inventing new stuff. I think it's a time of great, great, great inventiveness, because it is a whole new age, and communication and creativity and inventiveness is part of the markers of this time.
Yeah, I agree. It's like the going from the horse and buggy to the gas-powered car.
Mm-hmm.
And people resisted that, saying, wait a minute, I just need to feed my horse hay. What is this liquid I have to find out in the wilderness as I'm driving? And now I see yesterday, big European heavy equipment, they've created the hydrogen engine for it.
Huh.
And they're converting all their big earth movers and everything to run by these engines. So that just, as you say, it takes time for these things to happen. And I guess for me, I'd like to just see more examples of the benefits in this age that'll come out of it. Instead, I guess maybe I just hear of the people that have ripped people off in Bitcoin. And, but I mean, there's thieves during the Pony Express that only lasted a couple of years, right? But that Pony Express was a new invention. And it got the information moving, and people were stealing from it.
Mm-hmm. They only hired the best riders because they knew that they were going to be chased by pirates.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I guess for me, it's I'm hearing the Temple of Flowers. It's not all flowers, and that one needs to be aware of, what is the shadow of it? Like people investing their money and then suddenly it's gone to convert, and then they have nothing. I guess that's risk.
I have so many thoughts going through my head that I hesitate to speak, but here I am. Money has been, my management of money has not been the best in my life. my spiritual path has always been of the most importance, and I've been around a lot of people where money has felt to be more important. Money is felt to be more important than the people in their lives. Um, and I've looked, is that my perception or is that the reality? But interestingly, I've also, even though I'm not, financially overly wealthy, I've been around a lot of people that are, and I see my son, a number of his friends that have done well with Bitcoin and other things, um, like extremely well. And I question sometimes, like, are their lives focused on what it needs to be? But then I look at them, there they are, pushing through fears that would hold other people back. They're making lots of money. They're sort of living these big lives, but I also see them being fathers of young children, doing all the things that they need to do to create wonderful lives for their children, their friends. One fellow that made all the money, made a lot of money early on with Bitcoin, um, lost a child, but carried on and had, like, I just see, I guess, the microcosm and the macrocosm, and see the light side, not just the shadow side. I don't know. It's just like I say, I've got so many thoughts going through my head of so many layers of it that.
Well, that's a great example of the light side. What I'm asking for, what I'm seeking. I just don't see it when it's presented. I guess it's just buying this Bitcoin, buy this Bitcoin, and so what is it? How is it benefiting? And there's an example. So thank you.
And I look at my son, he's he'll be turning 47 this summer and has four children, almost 4 and 10. And, whatever he's done to make money has allowed him to be there as a father, hands-on with these 4, and still run business or whatever he does. But he, having the family has always been the priority. And I see him helping just a whole lot of people with difficulties in their lives. So
That's beautiful. I just know I've drawn naivete in the past, so approaching this, I don't want to wouldn't want to go into it naively.
no, you and me both. I mean, I like a simple life and keep it uncomplicated, but here I am watching everybody else living their lives very differently than I am. But thank you, Dwayne, for all of this. It's
My pleasure. Yeah. While I think of it, I just want to point out to you guys, I put a link in the chat to my latest article about Bitcoin. It kind of goes along with this presentation. So yeah, do check it out. It's me working with or with ChatGPT, and it's really quite a condensed overview. And yeah.
Well, I'm going to take the opportunity to share a little bit about the structure of the whole 260-day Zolkin and how it can relate to where we're at in time on the lightning path, and tie it into some of the themes we're talking about today. I thought would be interesting. So to start with the 13 tones, they create the temple with the steps on either side and then the pyramid top. Well, the whole 13 tones is in our bodies, and it's the ankle joints, the knee joints, the hips, the wrists, the elbows, the shoulders, And then the seventh central joint is the like the throat or the whole neck or spine. So that's like it goes up your right side, up the joints, and then that's like the center. So that's like represents the temple. And then the 20 archetypes are none other than our 20 fingers and toes. So that is that's how you get the 260 unique combinations. And the one for this current lunar cycle that we're in the middle of is 2 Akbal. And so the 2 represents tone 2, which is like has to do with like pendulum swings, like yin and yang, sun and moon, male, female, black and white, hot and cold. That can be like the energy of 2. And then the Akbal is like the archetype of the blue knight, which is like the dreamer. And I've got a crystal for each of the archetypes. And it's just interesting that the one for the blue knight is amethyst. And Steve got that amethyst. So it's like all about dreams. And yeah. So that's like the crystal that I've been focusing on for this lunar cycle. And I hope Damien's getting his amethyst wand. Wow. Magical tools.
Yeah, so I had a synchronicity happen that involves the Blue Knights and Sophia, and I made a video of it. And if anybody's interested here, I'll send it to you. I don't want to put it out publicly. It's very dear to me. But if anybody in the group would be interested to see it, it's a synchronicity that happened. And I've heard that it's good to share synchronicities with those you connect with, because it kind of confirms that all those signs and symbols mean something.
Put me on your list there.
What's
Steve.
that?
Say, put me on your list. I'd like to see it.
Yeah.
Me as well, please.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, and I'd like to see if you're willing to share. That's something I would be interested in seeing as well.
I made the video with, so that just leaves Billy. Are you interested, Billy?
Maybe he's still muted. No, but he would be. Oh,
Really?
Yeah, no, sorry, I was totally muted. Yeah, totally interested.
Okay. Good.
I'm
I see your
happy
animals.
for
I don't
using
write anything down. Yeah, the 20 glyphs. I watched a presentation by Bruce Lipton and his epigenetics, and I got this hit that the 20 glyphs are connected to the 20 amino acids that make up the protein, and how our environment is changes that. So that's what's perking with me right now. All these numbers came. Apparently, there's, I don't know too much about this biology, but it's been fascinating. It requires 64 codons. I go, wow, here's the 64 hexagrams. And then I've been reading this study of the Buddha and the Mahayana, and there's 84, I don't have the term, but there's 84 of something. I go, well, here's the 84-year orbit of Uranus. So all those numbers came at me in this one presentation. So it's pretty exciting.
Nice.
When you're talking about all of that biology, some of you know that we've been very involved at the hospitals with my son-in-law, my big Samoan son-in-law, has sepsis as a result of a minor surgery. So it's been quite a journey, but through all the difficulties of it, the magic still shows through. You know, a friend from New Zealand has been an absolute godsend because they have the money. She could afford to fly to be here, was a nurse. But the magic that has happened throughout all of this, and then when you're bringing up the numbers and the protein and the biology and looking at all the blood tests he's had, and at one point he was carrying an extra 40 pounds of fluid, but it was a protein that they had to give him, or they had to give him albumin that did something with the proteins. Like I just see what he's going through on a physical level is so tied in to all of this, which, you know, I felt all along that there was a spiritual component to what he's going through.
Yeah.
And what it's doing within the family dynamics and everybody stepping up to the plate.
Yeah. So you're talking about the family and then that environment. If he's in that nurturing family, that's helping his 20 amino acids.
Yeah.
And creating the healing genes.
Yeah. He's in the hospital. He's, you know, it might be a while before he gets out, but you know, very fact that this friend flew in at the perfect time. She's
Right.
very spiritual, very hands-on. You know, he wouldn't be alive if she hadn't flown over.
Yes, that's the environment I'm talking about.
Yes, yeah. But and it's, you know, hopefully makes everybody look at life differently and prioritize differently.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the gifts. The light out of the dark.
Mm-hmm. That lady flying in from New Zealand, like she's definitely operating in the higher realm of the map of consciousness.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Allie the angel.
Mm-hmm.
My first spent the night at home last night, but I haven't been at home. But my first day back at home, I completed that art piece, that box, based on the song "Oh, What a Wonderful World." And there's, you know, each little piece has a much deeper meaning to me. But it was coming out of, you know, the difficulty and just still seeing, oh, what a wonderful, incredible world we live in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's where it's at.
And thrown in the stars for star harmony. Thank you, all of you, very much.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. And I can understand that sounds like it must be a really hard time for the family having to go face some fears and be strong and bold, but all pulling together. And thank goodness, Allie.
Yes, yeah. You know, through it all, the humor and, you know, the gravity and the levity and, you know, there's that balance that pushes through regardless of what's going on. Or it is all that's going on. I don't know. You're very eloquent, much better than I am. But
You're passing on some gems, Brenda.
oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The synchronicities have been flowing through it all. Yeah. In fact, they stayed downtown while everybody was arriving for the Invictus Games, and the people that they would run into and talk to who were part of the games was just, it was amazing that they were able to be there, my daughter and Allie, and then my granddaughter spent a few nights, but just those profound connections they made with those people that were part of it wouldn't have happened, you know? It, yeah. Magic.
Mhm.
Yeah, those synchronicities are how we navigate through life. They're like the signposts and the map.
Yes. And the day that he took the turn for the better, Dwayne, took a turn for the better. It's like, the numbers that were showing up for my daughter-in-law everywhere, the synchronistic numbers, she called them her angel numbers, like everywhere. Every time she turned around there, looked at a clock, there they were. Or not just clocks, but there they were.
Well, I'm going to continue sharing, finish up the thought I had about the blue night lunar cycle that we're in. And it's the 20 glyphs as it was taught to me are like each are a pair that relates to like a planet in the solar system, and that's including one that's now an asteroid belt. But the blue night, it corresponds to the planet Saturn, and so the one of the key words for the night or the dreamer archetype of this lunar cycle that we're currently in is abundance,
Mm.
and it's all related to the redemption of the monetary system, and because there's been like a corruption there, and so that's what working with this archetype kind of is like our superpower at this time, I feel, because of the synchronicities with where we're at in the cycle, and that is just aligns with abundance because in the night when you're dreaming, it's like a time where there's just like this limitless, boundless abundance because you're in the dream world, and that's kind of a way to view life too. Like life as a dream is like there's more than enough for everyone, and so that is all the other archetypes have different qualities, but that is one, like ever since I first started learning about this archetypes and everything, that's been what the blue night's been all about. So to me it seems very interesting that we're talking about a monetary kind of stuff because that's a theme for the blue night is this abundance in whatever form it takes. And yeah, there's I wanted to ask anyone if they've had any interesting dreams lately in the last 2 weeks. I'll start with mine. I had this old telescope that I got really cheap. Anyway, I'm not going to grab it, but I wanted to try it out and look at the stars because I hear there's like this planetary alignment with a bunch of them are visible. And I pulled out this cheap telescope and and could kind of look through it. Didn't really work. Definitely not as good as binoculars. But that night, when I went to sleep, I had dreamt that I was looking through this really fancy telescope, and all the planets were like super highlighted with like information around them, and the stars had like lines between the constellations. So I had this intention that I wanted to use a telescope, but it didn't work on the balcony. So when I went to sleep that night, it was like really fulfilling. And I was like, oh, I don't even need a telescope. I can just dream it. And so that was like one thing that really made this lunar cycle stand out, being related to the dreamer archetype, and having a few other dreams. Like every night I have a few, but I was gonna see if anyone else wanted to share if they had any kind of dreams lately.
I don't have anything specific to share, but I definitely have been having more dreams and deeper meditations and staying up my daughters. The one time I was sitting on the bed looking, and they had a couple watches in this case, and the blurring the lines between, with the veil being very thin. I looked and it was like, this watch is moving. I've never seen it move before. Like, am I really, where am I at with this? Only it really was moving. It was part of the movement that keeps the watch going, but it was kind of humorous. I'm pretty good at laughing at myself, but it has been a more powerful time for dreams and for other people I've spoken to. And that Akbal energy I was living, it was definitely present in my life before realizing what was supposed to be happening. It was happening, which, yeah.
I'd like to share a little bit. I've been having more frequent dreams lately. Nothing that really stands out, but during my meditation practices lately, through my silent meditations, I've been experiencing some. So if you look at the Bitcoin and how the lines, so I envision a line going through my body and reaching out into infinity and going out the bottom into infinity, and I can feel like this sphere of energy just flowing around me. We're all connected in this weird way. So I've been really like in that kind of dream state, I guess. Even visualizing like my inner child's life and how I've reshaped it. Like there's been, I guess I've been more, I don't know, my meditations have been really deep, like super deep, and just really connected to spirit lately, which I'd never experienced up until like this last few weeks, to be honest. So that's kind of what I got.
I've had a few very minor dreams, but there's one that kind of stands out. Um, I was able to move effortlessly through the environment as if I was just an orb viewing what was below. And this, looking at this Bitcoin image in front of us right now, it was like I came up this, like going here up to the top of the mountain, and then over on the other side was revealed this incredible landscape that was just absolutely scintillating. It was so alive, and the contrasting colors, and it was just brilliant. And I don't that's all I've retained from that particular dream, but there was definitely this journey into a new territory, and kind of feels like what we've been up to today here. So yeah.
I just want to chime in on that, Dwayne. I had a meditation last Saturday with my group, and I was sitting on top of the mountain, and it was raining where I was sitting, but I was looking across at the sun just beaming with this beautiful mountainous view. And it was like, you know, like you can be in the rain, but yet I'm still like the light is right there. And it was just like this profound moment. So it kind of reminds me of your dream a little bit. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're taking me back to my childhood dreaming. As an 8-year-old, there was a mountain behind us, and my older brother said, "Oh, 3 peaks beyond that, there's an old gold mine." And so when I venture out for the day, just to go up into the mountain behind the house, I just always dreamed of, oh, I want one day I'll just take off and go to that, try and find that gold mine.
Well, thanks for sharing those dreams. That's interesting because I can then put together some of the themes that it all just sounds like the same thing with the beautiful mountains and in Dwayne's dream to Billy's meditation there with the sunset, the golden sunset, might I say. And then Steve's ever since a young age, right? Been dreaming of that lost gold mine a couple valleys over.
Yeah, I see a lot of them on the picture here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm looking at the screen with all of our faces. I thought that's what you meant when you said you see a lot of gold mines.
Well,
Yeah.
it's your perspective. I would agree with that too.
Well, another cool dream I had was I was in Powell River living by the ocean for a week, and I I wanted to see the whales, but I know that they don't come out as much in wintertime, and I had told Dwayne that I was going there. So when I got there, I gave a little update. I was like, "Oh yeah, I saw some sea lions and some eagles, but no whales yet." And that night, I had the dream where I was seeing over 40 whales, and they were all splashing around, and their tails were coming out of the water, and there was humpbacks and orcas playing together, and it was quite phenomenal, and it totally filled my cup. So I was just like, okay, another of the similar thing where just like with the telescope, I wasn't expecting to, or like I didn't receive anything in real life, but then when I dreamt, there was like more than I could have ever wanted. And so I think that kind of is part of the abundance, that there is this abundance of stars with the telescope working, and this abundance of whales, and and like the landscapes that you describe, like just the valleys are just full of glistening life and gold and all this abundance out there. So I think that's a key theme for this lunar cycle for us to benefit a lot from, is just contemplating all the abundance in life
Hmm.
and all that.
Yeah, just a bit of a teaser on this video. I discovered with Zoom, I just create a meeting and then I record it and I can create my own video. So that's been really interesting. And the theme, Blue Night and Aqua, the theme is based on the Knights Templar. That's what showed up. So it's a bit of a teaser before I send it over.
Whoops.
Is Billy filling the water jug?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you got to fill your water bottle.
I'm so sorry, guys. I blocked the video, but I didn't look at the
You didn't mute.
volume.
Um,
I was dying. I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, that goes on the blooper reel.
Oh shoot. I was like, I'll just block the video. I'll run away. I can still listen, you know? Oh boy.
So can we.
They say laughter prolongs life. You've just added to our well-being.
Yes, it's true. Oh.
Well, we got 10 minutes yet to go. Wrap up context.
Yeah, just a little bit on that night. I don't know if I addressed it in the video, but there's Bernard, and he kind of wrote the manifest of the Knights Templar, and he referred to himself as the chimera of the age. And apparently, in looking at that, the chimera birthed the Sphinx. So that's showing you some more Sphinxy stuff.
well, I, for one, am really glad that the sun is shining on the day of the new moon, or the full moon, rather.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. And I haven't had any dreams that I can remember because they've all gone to Avalon. I could remember them when I wake up, but they're gone. But I do want to say that the meditation that I've been doing almost daily has helped me regain some of my health. So,
Beautiful.
yeah. So thanks for this presentation.
My pleasure. Our pleasure.
Well, I was fortunate this morning to wake up, and I ran outside to plug my truck in because it's cold in Calgary, and there was the moon, and I was like, thank you for just being right there. And then I never got to see it again, but I was just thankful that I got to see it this morning before this. So thank you, Dwayne. Great presentation, and thank you to all for listening to me, P. And yeah, that's all I really got.
Thank you, Billy. Got to drain the main vein.
Right on.
And sorry, good to hear that the the meditation is helping your healing process. That's keep it up. That's great. Like the lady at the desk, building that foundation, planning out your life strategically and for the healing that we all need and that sort of thing. Very good. And I'm gonna say thank you, Dwayne, for the presentation today and bringing us all together at this special time, the full moons and the new moons, and I really think this is special, where two or more people are gathered is very special. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm going to wish everyone a very auspicious full moon, and enjoy the rest of your day. Do something special.
Thank you, Quentin.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation on the 20 glyphs and the current, what's happening now. I really appreciate that. I like what's bringing the lightning path to what's happening currently and actually using it. So I appreciate your presentation. Thank you. And Wayne, thanks for being willing to see if there's a shadow or not. And yeah, Billy, in your presentation, thank you for the laughter. Brenda's gems, and Sari also always has a nice insight for us too. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. Been a pleasure. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you.
Bye for
Bye for
now.
now.
Bye.
Sure.